Hey guys, welcome to Mr. Smith's Kitchen. Brian, Mr. Smith's Kitchen. As always, tonight, dinner. You know, always love to get together with you guys and have dinner. It is so awesome. You guys are great to cook with. But tonight, we're going to do something quick, easy, simple. I am on this like quick, easy, simple kick right now, but it's awesome. And tonight, we're going to do, you know, kind of a, if I can't decide on whether I want pizza or pasta, bam, we're slamming it together. It sounds like it's going to be amazing. I haven't actually tried it yet because we're cooking it for the first time together. But it sounds good. It's a pizza and pasta casserole. And it's so versatile. You can make this your own easily. What pizza toppings do you like? You know, and then it's got a sauce. What kind of pasta do you like? Although there is a recommendation for the pasta, but you could use anything. So yeah. If this is your first video, I hope you get something out of this video. I hope you check out some of my other videos. And even maybe considering liking, subscribing, and sharing. That's very important to like, subscribe, and share. Gets us out into other people's feeds, grows our neighborhood. My channel is just basically let's be good neighbors, and through food and, you know, communication and taking care of one another. And I do need to turn that fan on. It's getting steamy in here. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. Comments are always welcome. Just be polite. That's all I ask. You can disagree. Be polite about it. And yeah, I believe that's it. So let's get down to the counter. We're going to get started cooking. I will give you all your ingredients as we go in measurements. You know, I've got my handy dandy recipe right here. And as always, I write it down in the book. If we like it, we keep it. If we don't like it or can't modify it to make our own, which this one, you can modify to death, we'll get rid of it. But anyhow, let's get down to the counter and get started so we can get this done. This meal shouldn't take us more than 10-15 minutes to put together and about 30 minutes in the oven, done. So anyhow, let's get down to the counter and get started. Hold on for me 1 second. All right, we're down here at the counter. Sorry, that was kind of weird sounding. First thing we need to do, I've got my water boiling for our pasta. We need to turn our oven on, 350 degrees, get that warming up. Next thing we need to do is take our pasta water, put some pasta in it, get it working. So I've got 16 ounces. I'm using rotini noodles. It called for cavatappi, yeah. Cavatappi pasta, which is a spiral noodle. The reason why they recommend the spiral noodle, even though you can really use any noodle you want, is it holds up well between boiling and baking. So I've got 16 ounces, noodle of your choice. I'm going to put it in the water, and we're going to cook this for 8 minutes. I'm just following the instructions on the back of the box for al dente. I'll go ahead and put the... Oh, I'll tell you one thing I do want to put in there is some salt. You never go without salt. You want to make sure your water is good and boiling, right? Get some salt in there. What that does is it helps, you know, it's going to help bind some flavors, right? It's going to keep the noodles going and all that good stuff. We've got to put our lid back on there. While that's boiling, I've got my cast iron warming up a little bit. I'm going to turn it up just a hair. We are going to put 2 tablespoons of oil in our cast iron. We're going to get that nice and hot. Once that's nice and hot, we're going to start cooking up some sausage. Okay, our oil is dancing a little, starting to smoke, a little bit of whisper. So I've got 1 pound, 16 ounces of mild Italian sausage. You know, but you can use any kind of sausage you like. If you like the hotter Italian sausage, run with it. And what we're going to do is we're going to cook this up until it's well, we're going to just fry it up, basically. Yeah, we'll cook it until it's no longer pink in the center. All right, our noodles are done. We have boiled them for 8 minutes. Now I'm going to get them off. I'm going to pour this out right behind this, so give me 1 second. Okay, we got the noodles drained, and what I did was after I drained them out of the water, I poured some cold water over top of them. That way it would stop the cooking process. We didn't want them to keep on cooking. We wanted them to be al dente. So just a little bit of cold water real quick, slow the cooking process down, and not bring it to a grinding halt. Remember, it's going to go in the oven for it will go in the oven for 30 minutes. All right, so the next thing we're going to add to this is 3 cloves of minced garlic, right? I'm going to get that put in there. And that sausage took about 5-7 minutes to cook. I mean, it'll depend on how hot you got your pan, but 5-7 minutes. Then we're just going to cook this up for another couple minutes, get the flavors going, juices flowing, so to speak, in this garlic. All right, it's been a couple minutes, and man, this kitchen smells amazing. That garlic and the sausage is just tearing it up in here. So the next thing we need to add to our skillet, I've got a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, and I have a 15-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. Now, I got this recipe off Pioneer Woman, and she's got so many amazing recipes, and all of them are so versatile. She gives you like a baseline for everything. But she said, somebody had asked in the comments if you could use a pizza sauce or a spaghetti sauce in this, and her recommendation was on this particular part, kind of stick with the recipe, based on the fact that the bake time. Your pizza sauce, depending on whose you buy, might be a little watery, it might be thinner, and you could run into problems down the road. So she recommended on this step, run with the crushed tomatoes, because you're going to add flavor to it. So it's not like it's going to be, you've got the garlic in there, and then the next thing we're going to add is 2 teaspoons of oregano. We're going to throw that in, just like such. And then we're going to bring this up to a simmer, and we're going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes. When that 5 minutes is up, we'll taste for salt, and we'll add salt to taste, right? It'll just be our kosher salt like we always use for cooking. But we'll let this simmer first, that way it gives time for all those flavors to mingle. We got the oil in there, which should wake up the oregano, and then we've got the tomato sauce and the spices in the sausage and the garlic. We want all that to mingle. So let's get it simmering for 5 minutes, and then we'll taste it and see if we need to add salt, or how much salt, or how we're going to run it. All right? All right. We've been simmering for 5 minutes. Gotta love it. And now we'll start by putting a little bit of salt in there. We're just going to do a good pinch, maybe an 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon. We'll get that stirred in. I personally don't care for a lot of salt in anything, so you use salt as much as to taste, to what is good for you. But I don't do much, and I always just let everybody add a little salt to their plate as they go. Ooh, that's actually really, really good. But I am going to put just a little more salt in there. So what salt does in a dish, especially with kosher salt, because it's not been processed like an iodized salt has, is it brings out those flavors. And that's what we're looking for. So we got to get that stirred in. Like I said, it doesn't need a whole lot. It's got a lot of flavor in it. That is perfect. So I'm going to say between 1/8 and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, at least in our case. So now we're going to throw our pasta in there, just like such. Try not to get it everywhere. And get our pasta coated. And then we're down to just building our casserole, pretty much. Let me get this coated and get some stuff straightened up, get the camera moved, and we will start building our casserole. All right, I'll be right back in just 1 second. Okay, so I got at least enough room on here that we can work. If you're new to my channel, you're in my entire kitchen. My kitchen is a whopping like 9 foot by 15 foot. It's not very big. You're actually standing almost at the back door. So first thing we need to do is 9 by 13 pan. We're going to take half our pasta and sauce mix. That's funny. So somebody had fun at the pasta factory. I got a different noodle in there. I was outside building another box for the garden, raised bed box, and I got screws, and I ended up with like this 5-inch nail in my screw box, where somebody had it was one of those you had one job moments, I guess. But we got half our pasta in there, and about half of it, give or take. And that's where we're done kind of following the rules, so to speak. Now, I did take her recipe, all the stuff she put in her recipe to put into mine, but I did add some mushrooms to it. And I think that was it, just mushrooms. Everything else sounds amazing that's in it. So the next thing we do once we get that in there is we are going to take, I've got 3 cups of shredded mozzarella, and we're going to half all this because we're going to layer it in. So I'm going to take about 1.5 cups, but once again, if you really like mozzarella, run with it. I mean, don't just do, for this, if you want more mozzarella, add more mozzarella. Dude, this will easily be your world. And this part right here, if you've got kids, they will have an absolute blast doing this. So we've got our mozzarella on there. The next thing we're going to throw on is some Parmesan. Now I've got pre-shredded Parmesan. I actually had a discussion with somebody on last week's video, week before, about shredded cheese and how they shred their own because they can never get shredded to melt. And I was telling them that a lot of times the cheaper pre-shredded cheeses, not only do they have a coating on them, but they're mostly oil, and that makes it hard for them to melt. If you're going to buy pre-shredded cheese, buy a good shredded cheese. This mozzarella I shredded myself. The Parmesan I actually just had in the fridge, and I wanted to get it used up. It's not a Reggiano, but it's a Parmesan. So after we get about 1.5 cups of the mozzarella on there, the Parmesan in and of itself is 1/2 cup, so we got about 1/4 cup of Parmesan on there, and then it's like a free-for-all. I've got 1 green pepper that I've diced up, and I'm going to put half of that in there, right? We're basically kind of building a lasagna to an extent. So we'll get half our green pepper on there. I've got a 1/2 cup of chopped red onion. And like I said, if you don't like these, don't put them on. And these are just, it's a small chop, And if you like bigger pieces it is. And most of the people in our family like their vegetables diced up. So this is as big as I can usually get with chopped stuff. It's like a fine chopped vegetable. And then I've got 1/2 cup of banana pepper, or 1/3 cup of banana peppers, and then a jar of banana peppers. And I'm just going to put some of those on here. Like I said, we're using half of what we got to put on here. Now, if you don't like any of this stuff, or you got other stuff, like you made broccoli, cauliflower, I've seen those put on pizzas, artichoke, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it can go in there. You don't even have to, you can omit the sausage. You can make this completely vegetarian. The next thing I have is 1/2 cup of black olives. It's about a small can of black olives. And I'm going to put those on there. It took me a long time to like black olives. It just was something that I never gave a fair shot. Much like tomatoes. I didn't like tomatoes until a couple years ago. It's like I finally came to the conclusion I was an adult and had to at least give them a shot. And the last thing I'm going to put on here, which isn't in the recipe, the original recipe, is some mushrooms. We jar our own mushrooms up. So these are pre-cooked mushrooms. You could use fresh mushrooms, whatever your heart contents. And this is just a small jar of them. I'm going to go ahead and throw those on there. We actually do 2 different kinds of mushrooms. We do a vinegar type mushroom and a regular mushroom. After we got that done, right there, we're going to go ahead and take the other half of our noodles and put that over the top. Now, I know somebody's inevitably going to say to themselves, or they may even leave it in the comments, he's using a cast iron skillet and he's got tomatoes in it. I have an answer for that. The common rule is you don't do tomato sauces in cast iron. That's just kind of the thing. Well, here's the thing with that. I'm not cooking in it long enough. I'm not making a tomato soup where it's going to be in there forever. I'm making a quick dish. And my cast iron is very, very, very well seasoned. So it would take a lot of time and a lot of highly acidic tomatoes to eat through my seasoning. If you're comfortable with it, go. If you're not, don't. Alright, so the next layer is pretty much the same as the first. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. There's one more caveat. When I come back, I'll show you the last ingredient I'm going to put on there that I didn't put in the first layer. Be right back. So, one ingredient I forgot, it's kind of important. before I started putting everything on there, and I just went ahead and shoved some in down into the center of this, is pepperoni. Gotta have pepperoni. So that should have been actually the very first thing we put on, in my opinion. I think in the recipe it has it going on top of the vegetables, but I think it should go on under the vegetables. So pepperoni, then your vegetables, and then your cheeses, and then the star of the show. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, we've got her all squared away there. So the last thing I have got mozzarella pearls. And they're just basically little mozzarella balls, fresh mozzarella. You can't get any fresher than this. And to me, this is like the most exciting part. I thoroughly love fresh mozzarella. Working in a pizza shop, I get to play with mozzarella all the time, and it just adds a whole new level of cheesiness, especially fresh like this. So ooey gooey when it comes out of the oven. So ooey gooey. So we're just going to sprinkle this on top. And I've got one, it's an 8-ounce package. Yeah, 8-ounce package. And I'm going to try to get pretty much 8 ounces of this mozzarella on here. And it calls for a half a cup, which is probably closer to 4 ounces. It's probably about a third of a cup here. But I really want to get that mozzarella on there. Okay. Here is our ready to go in the oven product, and might I say it is colorful. It looks good. It's incredibly fragrant. So now what do? Well, we've got the oven at 350 degrees. It's been ready to go for quite some time. I'm going to go ahead and get this in the oven, and it's on the center rack, so we don't have to move it from where it should normally be. And we're going to bake this for 30 to 35 minutes. We are looking for all the cheeses to melt and get a light golden brown. So I'm going to let this bake, and when I come back, we'll pull it out of the oven and see what we got ourselves into. All right, I'll see you here in just a few seconds. 30 minutes for me. All right, hold on for me. Okay, timer just went off. Been 35 minutes. So let's get this bad boy out of the oven, see how she looks. I know my whole house smells amazingly good. And, oh, it looks just like I hoped it would. And there we are. That, ladies and gentlemen, is our finished product. Looking absolutely delightful. Oh, I'm digging it. Just digging it. So, what do we do next? So next, turn the oven off, because that's always good. We are going to let this bad boy just sit here for about 10 minutes, maybe 15. You know, we need to let it settle down at any rate. So if we try to eat it right now, not only would we not taste anything because it would instantaneously just destroy our taste buds, but it would melt our face off. And we don't want to melt our face off. We want to be able to eat it and taste it and enjoy it. So we'll let this sit here 10-15 minutes and settle down, and then when I come back, we'll plate some up and give it a try. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, we let this bad boy cool for about 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. I got everything cleaned up in the kitchen, and now we just gotta get us out a little slice of life here. Try not to make a mess in the process. Look at that, this ooey gooey. Oh, I love it. Any cheese that just is stringy, in my book, is A-OK. Alright. Got that. Still a little piping hot in the center there, but that's alright. There we are, my friends, in all its beauty and wonder. So now, all we have to do is back you guys up. To the back door. Aha, there you are. I was looking for you. Missed you. It's crazy. And we will give this bad boy a try. Now, here's a question for you. I think I've asked this once before a long time ago. Are you a spoon person or a fork person? Like in our house, Chris is a fork person. She uses a fork for everything. I am a spoon person. I use a spoon for most things. Yeah, I mean, there's some things that obviously require a fork, but most things you can get away with a spoon. Anyhow, that being said, let's give this bad boy the old college try. I am serving this with some Italian bread also, by the way. You can put a salad with it, cucumber salad, regular Italian salad, whatever your heart desires, some asparagus, if you want to get fancy. But I'm just going to have it with some bread. Let's give it a shot. It tastes like a pizza. I mean, really. That tastes like a pizza with a noodly crust. That's really pretty cool. I was thinking it tastes more like a spaghetti, like a pasta. But other than the pasta, which is very good, it tastes like I just put a like an all the way or an ultimate pizza, depending on where you're at in the world, in my mouth. And that is, yeah, I mean, I'm not hating on that at all. And this didn't take long. Jeez. Looking at 45 minutes. Everything we put on it, the only thing I had to prep was the onions and green peppers. I mean, really, I did the garlic too, but the garlic you can buy pre-done up in a jar. Everything else was jarred or canned. So the only cooking you had to do was the sausage and the garlic. So yeah, I mean, you're talking 10-15 minutes to get in the oven and another 30 minutes in the oven, and you got a meal. I mean, that's pretty solid for a weeknight meal, I think. You know, is it peanut butter and jelly fast? No. But is it stick to your ribs, fill your belly, and be happy fast? Absolutely. Full of flavor. Only a handful of ingredients in the sauce. That's really cool. And the ingredients, you can change it to whatever you like. That's awesome. You know, hands down, what do you like on a pizza? That's what you'd put in it. If you're a pepperoni mushroom sausage type of person, boom, there you go. You know, if you're an all vegetable person, boom, there you are. You know, you don't have to do the sausage. And really, with the variety of stuff they have out there to offer, you could go with a meat alternative. You know, a plant-based sausage, plant-based hamburger if that's your thing, plant-based chicken, whatever. I mean, you could really turn that into whatever your heart desires. You know, you could even go with a Mexican theme with it, with a chicken or a beef and some taco seasoning to sprinkle on top before you put it in the oven. Yeah, I mean, the possibilities are truly endless. I highly recommend you give this a try. And this would be something that, you know, you and your family could do together. You know, this would be something that the kids could cook. You know, help them out with maybe doing the sausage and the noodles, depending on how old they are. But this would be a quick, easy meal for kids to cook, and you can relax, which would be awesome, right? Who gets to have to do that as an adult? So let me know if you try this. Then just leave me a comment down below, or find us on Facebook under Mr. Smith's Kitchen, and leave us a comment. You know, if you've got something that you do, you make something similar to this, let us know. You know, it'd be interesting to hear the story. You know, hands down, I love to talk about stuff. And yeah, either way, let us know. So tomorrow, we're going to do a chocolate chip cookie dough. It's chocolate chip cookies and cookie dough with an edible cookie dough cheesecake that I think is just going to knock our socks off. It's not as hard as it sounds. You know, there are some nuances to it that, and some things you don't have to do that you can do. There's some options. It's even going to maybe even give us a second video next week. But I think this is a cheesecake for the ages all the same. And a friend of mine had said that she'd seen this. I don't remember where she said she'd seen it at, but her thought was I could probably make it, and she's actually coming to dinner tomorrow. So I thought, what a way to surprise her. You know, she's had kind of a rough few weeks, and I think this would bring a little joy to her. But anyhow, so tomorrow for chocolate chip cookie dough cheesecake, I love you. I love you very much, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else you love them and you love them very much. It's going to make them feel a whole lot better. It's going to make you feel good telling them. Make this pizza pasta casserole. Invite them over for dinner. It's going to be a great meal with good conversation. So until tomorrow for cheesecake, I love you. I'll see you then. All right? Talk to you later. Bye.